G'day and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Life on the Leg Run. Now today I'm going to set a dingo trap. This will probably be the last trap I'll set for the year. I've been saying I've been going to do a video on setting a dingo trap for a while now, so I'm finally going to do it today. I got the trapping gear here. I'm just going to put this trap on this little tree just there. I haven't done a Life on the Lick Run video for a while because I've been working on another project recently and I've been pretty busy on that. I'll say a bit more about it after I set this trap, but it's been a fairly big undertaking, and I've been doing a video up out of that, and yeah, I'll release that early next year, the start of the year, and yeah, you won't want to miss it. So for now, I'm just going to set this trap here on this little tree. I picked this spot here because as I was coming down the road, I could see a fair few dingo tracks traveling the road. And in this particular area, I have caught a fair few dingoes in the past, so I know it's a good proven spot to trap dingoes in this area here. Before we start, I just would like to say that I don't know a lot about trapping dingoes. I'm just a fella that can set a trap, and I catch dingoes, but it's nothing fancy. Now, dingo trapping is one of them things where sort of there's a lot of people that reckon they know a fair bit about trapping dingoes, and what I've sort of found is that if you ask 5 different trappers a question, you can usually expect about 6 different answers. So I just wanted to point that out. This is the way I do it. It works for me. I catch dingoes doing it this way, so that's about as good as I can sort of do it. So I just do it that way. So no worries. We'll start the setup here now, and we'll start putting this trap in the ground right here. I'm just going to chain it to this little tree here and just set it right here on the edge of the road. Okay. I just started to set this trap and I realised I didn't have the camera turned on, so I'll start again. So just get that, you just get this chain and just go straight around the tree, and then just do that up. And you want to do that up with pliers because there's a lot of jumping around that goes on when a dingo's in the trap for a few hours, so if you don't have everything tightened up properly, they will get out and then take off with your trap. This trap here, I don't know a lot about these traps. They're called a no BS lures trap. They're very similar to a WTS, which is Western Trapping Service trap. I've got some of them, and I've got some Jake traps. I'll do a video in the future about different traps and how they work. This is a pretty good sort of mid-sized trap. There's other bigger traps out there, but the biggest problem with a big trap, if you're in hard soil, is that you've got to dig a fairly big hole, which can take up a lot more of your time. But the bigger traps are better in the fact that there's a bigger area for them to step on the trap. So there's fors and against them both. So all to do now is I'll just set this trap. And you just pick out the spot where you want it to be set. And usually first thing I do is dig the trench with a chain. Put it about there. fairly soft soil here, so it's good for setting traps. Just slightly below ground level, which is usually pretty good. Now, this trap, you can move it around and it's got a lot of movement. So now is the process of what they call bedding the trap, where you want no movement whenever when you press somewhere on the trap. So I'll move the camera closer and I'll show you the bedding process. So you just want to get some dirt and just pack it all around the edge of the trap so that it stops that movement when the dingo stands somewhere on the trap other than on the tongue. Because if they step on the trap and it starts to move and they can feel that, well then they realise that there's something not right. So then they avoid the situation very quickly. Now for a cover for the tongue, I just use newspaper. Some fellas reckon that that's a bad thing, and others reckon that that's okay. So I don't know, it works for me. So I just keep doing it. There's all different things you can use as a cover for the tongue. You don't want it overly big, just enough to cover the tongue and just sort of around the jaws. And then just start to sprinkle some dirt on that and get it set in place. And once you start that process, you want to get a stick and just start wriggling all around the edge of the paper and get the dirt going in wherever it wants to go in, so that when the dingo starts to tread around the trap, you don't want that paper to move and then start like gaps are appearing and stuff, and then they'll realise something's wrong if that happens. So you just want to pack all that dirt in wherever it wants to go in. Want to get all them leaves and sticks and stuff out of the dirt that's going in on the trap, because that will slow down the effectiveness of how quick that trap can come up and catch the leg of the dingo if you got all that rubbish in the road. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now we just bury the chain, make sure that's completely out of sight. Okay, now just want to get your stick and then just start to smooth down any sharp edges in the ground and make it look as natural as possible. Then you just get your stick and just start to flick in some leaves. You just want leaves alone, you don't want any sticks. Otherwise the sticks will get caught up in the workings of the trap. and you memorise where the tongue is, which is right there, and you want to leave that area as clear as possible, because the dingoes always like to put their feet where they feel they're not going to get a prickle or get sort of get a stick or something in their foot. So if they see that spot open, then that's a good spot for them to put their foot, because there's no danger. Well, they don't think there's any danger there for their foot. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them to think that there's a good spot for their foot in the trap. Dingoes are very cunning. I like to spend a bit of time just sort of getting these leaves just in place so that it makes it look as natural as possible and nothing looks out of the ordinary. Okay, that looks pretty good now. Now it's time to lure the trap. Okay, so I got a couple of different products here. I just got some ordinary dog turds. We got working dogs at home, so I just go and grab some of these from underneath their cages. So I usually like to just put two, sort of about 6 inches away from the tongue of the trap, and I like to sort of put them in two different spots, so they have to move across between them, and they got more chance of stepping on the trap. And then this stuff in this bottle is also from our working dogs. You just wait for I usually try to do it with a bitch, and just wait for the dog or the bitch to go and have a pee on the ground, and then once she's finished, you just spoon the dirt with the pee in it into the bottle, and that makes a really effective lure. So just sprinkle some of that dirt, just only a small amount, just up around the top of the trap, and as they work between all that, they've got a fair bit of opportunity to put their foot in the trap. So that's pretty good there now. So as I just move back out of the way, all I do now is just have me stick and just sweep all my boot tracks out all around the edge of the trap so that it looks as natural as possible. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Looks all natural, doesn't look like it's been disturbed too much. So I often find that it'll take maybe a couple of days before you'll get a dingo caught in a trap, maybe like even a week. And I put that down to a lot of the time being that you have a lot of human scent around the trap and they're a bit wary to start with, and then over time that starts to go, so then they're more inclined to come in and check it out then. So yeah, oftentimes you won't see a dingo before a week in a trap after you've set it. So that's why we just got a few traps out all the time, and it's coming up to our wet season before long, sort of like the first few months of the new year will be in our wet season, so I don't have any traps in the ground over that time, just because they just get rusty and yeah, so you may as well have them in the shed out of the ground, out of the rain during that time, and then once the rain finishes, then put the traps back in the ground again. So I just wanted to say a little bit more about this upcoming video that I'm doing. It's I rolled a grader down a hill 3 years ago, and I'm in the process of recovering that at the moment, and it's turned into a pretty big job. So I'm videoing that, and that I'll release that at the start of the coming year. And yeah, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, this is the last video I'll do for this year, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of my viewers and subscribers, and I wanted to thank you all very much and wish you all a Merry Christmas and all the best for 2023. So I'll see you at the start of 2023. Thank you.